But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we really don't know all the fighters he beat. And he could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Canelo and Floyd always seem to have something going on between them. Canelo feels that Floyd only beat him because he wasn't in his prime yet, while Floyd keeps saying that Canelo was easy work.
Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude.
Now, things between Canelo and Floyd are heating up faster than ever. Even 11 years after their legendary clash, their rivalry is still one of the most talked about in boxing. As time passes and both fighters continue building their legacies, people still haven't stopped talking about their first fight.
I told Canelo, do not fight Floyd because you're too young. You have no experience.
Right. Well, but he's a much bigger man. He
is, but he's 21 years old, flexing his muscles like I can take on Floyd. I'm the very best. Guess what? You got schooled.
Recently, Floyd's camp, especially his uncle and former trainer Jeff Mayweather, stirred things up again. His bold comments about Canelo's ability, especially in a possible rematch, led to a heated exchange between him, Canelo, and Floyd himself.
Because I do see some decline in Canelo. But even though I see decline...
In an interview, Jeff Mayweather shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's recent fight against Edgar Berlanga. Canelo won with a dominant performance, securing a unanimous decision and knocking Berlanga down in the third round in Las Vegas. On the surface, it looked like another big milestone in Canelo's legendary career. But for Jeff, it still wasn't enough to prove that Canelo was in the same class as Floyd.
Canelo's a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. And everyone is now saying that he's not the same fighter. He's not looking the same.
Jeff started by acknowledging that Canelo is a great fighter, saying, "Canelo is Canelo," but added that this version of him isn't as good as before. Even though he admitted Canelo had a dominant performance, he made it clear that today's Canelo doesn't compare to the past. He repeated that Canelo is still Canelo, but not the same as before. And his tone sounded more dismissive than admiring of Canelo's growth as a fighter.
This fight was more difficult between Mayweather or Bivol, and why?
I think both are similar. Just Bivol is bigger, so I think Bivol.
The conversation got more heated when the interviewer asked Jeff about a possible rematch between Floyd in his prime and Canelo today. Jeff didn't hold back and confidently said the result would be the same as their first fight in 2013. Yeah, he has no chance like last time. He would get whooped again just like before, Jeff bluntly stated.
Your record, obviously, Floyd Mayweather and Bivol. I've heard fighters say they learn more from losses than wins. Which of those fights did you learn from, or which one bothered you the most just out of those two?
Bothered me more like the Bivol fight because, I think I'm not in my 100% in that fight. I should be stop it and take more time. At the end of the day, everything.
Jeff Mayweather made it clear that he didn't believe Canelo's rise to superstardom and multiple world titles changed anything. In his mind, Floyd's defensive skills and ring IQ were unmatched, and no matter what Canelo had achieved, he couldn't overcome that. Even when the reporter mentioned Canelo's recent success, Jeff didn't waver, saying, "Floyd is the face of boxing too. Floyd fought in many weight classes too," dismissing the idea that Canelo had surpassed Floyd's legacy.
I think it was so impressive about him.
His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
You think that was the toughest fight you faced?
No.
What do you think?
I think he's tough fights and difficult fights. That was a difficult.
Despite Jeff's comments, Canelo's resume had only become more impressive over the years, with big wins over top fighters like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant. He had also won titles in 4 weight classes, while Floyd retired with an undefeated record. As expected, Canelo didn't stay silent. Known for his determination and pride, he had a response ready when Jeff claimed Floyd would beat him again. Speaking in an interview with DAZN Boxing, Canelo made his feelings clear about the idea of a rematch with Floyd.
What I have to say to Canelo is this. You proved yourself already. You proved yourself. You fought a lot of great fighters. You tested yourself. You went up in weight to numerous great.
Canelo admitted he would love the chance for revenge against Floyd, knowing a rematch was unlikely but still wanting to prove himself. Obviously, we know it's not going to happen, but yes, I would love to get rid of that little thorn, he said. His words weren't just about beating Floyd. They were about erasing the pain of his first loss and showing the world how much he had grown as a fighter.
And so when I fight guys, when I'm in my 30s and they're in their 30s, you know what they say? Oh, this guy all washed up.
Canelo's first loss to Floyd in 2013 was a key moment in his career. Back then, he was a rising star, but Floyd's defense and smart tactics exposed his weaknesses. However, the loss didn't break Canelo, it pushed him to improve. In the years that followed, he became a multi-weight world champion, winning titles from light middleweight to light heavyweight.
Canelo just said, if you and him were to fight and you were both in your prime, he would win.
Well, it's crazy that, Canelo said that, because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man. So I wasn't in my prime when I fought Canelo.
Canelo's confidence now is very different from the young fighter who faced Floyd nearly a decade ago. His skills have improved and his mindset is sharper. While Jeff Mayweather believes Floyd's win was final, Canelo thinks a rematch would have a very different result. If we fought again, I'd school him. I'm not the same fighter I was back then, Canelo has said in past interviews, and it's clear he still feels the same way today.
Canelo said that because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man. So I wasn't in my prime when I fought Canelo. I was an old man when I fought Canelo. Just like this right here, young.
The back and forth didn't stop with Canelo's response. Floyd Mayweather, always bold and outspoken, had his say too. He wasn't going to let Jeff's words or Canelo's comments go without a response. As expected, Floyd was direct and confident, making it clear that he still believed he was on a different level. He took to social media, saying Canelo hadn't grown into the fighter he thought he was. Canelo is not what he thinks he is, Floyd declared, taking a clear shot at Canelo's belief that he could beat him in a rematch. Floyd wasn't impressed with Canelo's progress, suggesting that if Canelo had faced the same level of opponents Floyd did, he wouldn't be the superstar he is today. If there were more fighters like me, Canelo wouldn't be the name he is today, Floyd said, highlighting his dominance in boxing. He has always reminded the world that he helped shape the sport, believing his ability to outsmart, outmaneuver, and outwork opponents played a big role in box's growth. I've fought the best and I'm undefeated. That's why I'm the greatest, Floyd asserted. His statement wasn't just about Canelo, but also about his own legacy. To Floyd, his impact on boxing goes beyond his achievements, and if more champions had his skill level, Canelo might not have had the same chance to rise.
Canelo's a hell of a fighter. There's a lot of great Mexican fighters. That's not for me to rate fighters. I just take my hat off to so many fighters that paved the way, for me to be where I'm at, just, throughout life.
Jeff Mayweather also shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's future, especially about a possible fight against David Benavidez. His comments sparked controversy as he claimed Canelo wouldn't stand a chance against the younger, bigger Benavidez. Jeff pointed out that if Canelo took as many punches as he did in his recent win over Jaime Munguia, he would be in trouble. Despite Canelo's many achievements, Jeff believes his recent performances, especially against fighters like Munguia, show weaknesses that someone like Benavidez could take advantage of.
Eso. Venga. 5, venga.
Canelo's win over Munguia wasn't as dominant as many fans expected, despite the hype around the fight. He won by unanimous decision after 12 rounds, but it wasn't one-sided. His punch output was lower than expected, and while he controlled most of the fight, Munguia stayed competitive. One judge scored it 1-1, 5-1, 1-2, showing how close some rounds were, while the other two judges scored it more in Canelo's favor. Jeff Mayweather was blunt about Canelo's performance, saying his work rate isn't what it used to be. The fact that Canelo struggled against Munguia despite his experience and skill only adds to Jeff's doubts about his ability to handle someone like Benavidez.
I believe his greatest win on his resume is Canelo, not Pacquiao. Pacquiao lost a bunch of times. First of all, this is a dude we don't even know who beat Pacquiao. Like, we got to go so deep in his resume. He lost somewhere in the Philippines. No one talks about that. Then he had mad controversial fights, and he's gotten stopped. Canelo's proven to be more durable and accomplish probably more.
Canelo's desire for a big payday is clear. After the fight with Munguia, he said he would only face Benavidez if the money was right. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Canelo is reportedly asking for a massive $200 million for the fight. This price tag has sparked debate in the boxing world, as many feel the fight doesn't justify such a huge amount. While Canelo is still a top name, his stock isn't as high as it once was, and many promoters find it hard to justify paying that much for a fight with Benavidez.
It was up to me. Like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. We want to see Benavidez. Let's make it happen.
The Saudis, known for funding big boxing events, are reportedly looking at other options. There are rumors that they are more interested in a fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. This matchup, while still a big event, would cost less than a fight with Benavidez, but could still generate similar financial interest. Crawford, with his multiple weight titles and reputation as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, could bring in the same level of excitement without the massive price tag. For the Saudis, it's all about maximizing profit while keeping costs down. And Canelo versus Crawford seems like a more practical choice.
I don't really like to bash somebody because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter. Yeah. He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not
Jeff Mayweather isn't backing down from his opinion on Benavidez. The question of whether Canelo could handle the younger, bigger, and harder-hitting Benavidez is a serious one. Benavidez, known as one of the most dangerous fighters in the super middleweight division, brings a unique challenge with his relentless style, high punch output, and overwhelming power. Jeff believes that while Canelo's defense and head movement are still strong, they wouldn't be enough to stop Benavidez's non-stop attack. The reality is that Canelo's long career has taken a toll, and Jeff argues that at this stage, facing Benavidez could come with serious consequences.
I'm sure he understands the risk, and like you said, he knows he's a bigger boy, so that's really all I got to say on that.
The idea of Canelo facing a true light heavyweight like Benavidez at this stage has many doubting if it's the right move. At 33, Canelo's no longer in his prime, and the physical demands of fighting someone who matches him in size and strength might be too much. He has already proven himself as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, so he doesn't need to take this fight. But the big question remains, can Canelo still compete at the highest level? Or is he just holding on to his legacy by accepting challenges that may be beyond him?
That is exactly what's wrong with boxing. So, I'm totally against it. I think that competition is competition. You should fight the best guy in your division, period. That best guy now has moved up to 175, who was Benavidez. I don't think we'll ever see the fight.
The idea of Canelo avoiding a fight with Benavidez is controversial, but it makes sense in many ways. Facing such a dangerous opponent with little to gain at this stage of his career might not be worth the risk. Canelo's legacy is already secure, and a loss to Benavidez could hurt his reputation. While fans want to see the fight, the real question is whether Canelo is willing to risk everything for a payday when the outcome is uncertain.
When he's fighting in 168, when he's in the night fight night is like 190.
Wow.
Even though Floyd Mayweather often calls Canelo Alvarez an easy opponent, some argue that Canelo has reached a level of dominance that Mayweather never did. Floyd's 50-0 record and multiple world titles have set the standard for greatness. His defensive skills and ability to control the ring were seen as unmatched, making him one of the best of his era. However, in recent years, some have started to question whether his legendary career is as flawless as it once seemed. Floyd's perfect 50-50 record was always seen as proof of his technical genius and ring IQ, But as time has passed, some have started to question it. Critics now argue that Floyd's fighting style wasn't entirely his own, and even his famous defense is being reevaluated. Legendary boxer James Toney, who trained Mayweather in the past, has openly claimed that Floyd copied his defensive moves, saying, "He took it off me." James Toney, known as one of the best defensive boxers ever, has claimed that Mayweather copied his techniques, especially the shoulder roll defense. This move, where a boxer turns their body to deflect punches off their shoulder, was perfected by Toney and legends like Jersey Joe Walcott and Ezzard Charles before it became Floyd's signature style. Toney has openly stated that he was the one who introduced Floyd to the move, even saying, "Everybody knows I do it the right way anyway."
Guy can't get in there, and that comes right up. Bam! That comes, you're in the pocket. Bang, bang him here, you're in the pocket. You protect, you got your shield up. You can roll, he throw a punch. James Toney, remember him? When the middle.
Toney's aggressive and powerful approach to the shoulder roll was very different from Mayweather's defensive style. Toney never hesitated to stay in the pocket and go head-to-head with his opponents. For him, the shoulder roll wasn't just about avoiding punches. It was a weapon to set up counters, land knockout shots, and dominate the fight. On the other hand, Mayweather used a more careful approach, avoiding exchanges and relying on his quick footwork to maintain distance. While Floyd's version of the shoulder roll made him famous, Toney's criticism raises the question of how much of Mayweather's style was truly original.
Yeah. Use jab right hand, left hook.
Toney's comments might sound like an old fighter trying to discredit the new generation, but they open up a deeper debate about Mayweather's legacy. Floyd always took pride in his defensive mastery, but when you look closely, it becomes clear that he didn't invent the style. He perfected an already existing technique and took it to another level. That doesn't mean he created something completely new. Toney even claimed that Floyd looked scared during training, unwilling to stand and trade punches like he did. Maybe Mayweather's cautious approach is the reason, as Toney suggests, that he avoided fighting some of the toughest opponents of his time, like Julio Cesar Chavez.
It's me in my prime. I mean, people keep telling me what Canelo said, what Canelo said. Me and Canelo had our chance, and I think Canelo was talking about him being in his prime, fighting against me in my prime.
The criticism of Floyd's technique ties into the ongoing debate about Canelo's supremacy. While Mayweather often dismisses Canelo as an easy opponent, the reality is that Canelo has faced challenges and adversity in ways Floyd never did. Mayweather carefully picked his fights, often waiting for opponents to age or decline before facing them. He famously avoided prime versions of fighters like Antonio Margarito and Shane Mosley. His career was not without controversy, and his constant criticism of Canelo, especially after their 2013 fight, seems like an attempt to downplay Canelo's achievements and protect his own legacy. Floyd has also mocked Canelo's recent performances, calling him easy, despite the Mexican fighter's continued success at the highest level.
Some rumors coming out of Canelo's camp that, he's had to send home his phone.
I can care less what the rumors is about Canelo camp. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but,
nope.
It's all access coming to you live. I can care less what Canelo did in his camp, I'm not a fucking sparring partner. I'm fucking Floyd Mayweather, and I can...
Canelo seems to have reached a level of supremacy that Floyd never did in his own way. While Mayweather has a perfect record, many believe Canelo has tested himself against a wider range of opponents, often in their primes, without the careful selection that defined much of Floyd's career. Canelo focuses on facing the best, not just choosing the easiest path to victory. When they fought in 2013, Floyd won convincingly, but Canelo was only 23 at the time. Since then, he has grown as a fighter, taking on tough challenges and proving himself against opponents like Golovkin and Caleb Plant. His evolution in the ring is something Floyd never had to go through. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.